Hey guys, welcome to MotoTribe TV. I'm Donovan, right here next to me is Ben.
Hi.
Now Ben, you recently had the amazing opportunity to go on Indian Motorcycle South Africa's relaunch. We'll get to the bikes just now, but what I would like to ask you is what's up with Indian? Are they owned by Yamaha because they're in the same building? What's happening there?
Hey Don, thank you. First of all, it was an amazing opportunity to attend the relaunch of Indian Motorcycle South Africa. And I must tell you, I enjoyed every second being in that seat. I miss you guys there, but not too much. I enjoyed it a lot. Yeah, the question is, it's a very good question. And that's something that a lot of people misunderstand at the moment because they are in the world of Yamaha building. So the way it works is that the holding company is Tuning Fork. And under Tuning Fork there's quite a few brands under the same umbrella, whereof Yamaha is one. And obviously Yamaha, it is the whole selection of Yamaha products, which is the boats, it's the golf carts, music instruments, power tools, and obviously the motorbikes. The other brand that they have under the umbrella is obviously Indian Motorcycles. And Indian Motorcycles, they have a amazing and stunning showroom they've built there. It is in the same building with a magnificent apparel section, which I mean, I adore. I never skip it. I always go through there. And you guys must go check it out. It's really awesome. And then obviously they have the Kimco range of products as well, which is the scooters, ATVs and utility vehicles.
Thanks for explaining that. That's really fascinating. But my question is, why do you think Tuning Fork bought over Indian? You don't think that would be competition to Yamaha?
Don, yeah. First of all, they haven't bought over Indian. Basically, Indian is it's just one of the brands that they have the rights to sell in South Africa. But they were very clever here, I think, personally, is that Yamaha stopped selling big engine bikes quite a few years back. The biggest CC they sell at the moment is the 1000cc, and they also don't manufacture any cruisers anymore. So if you look at the Indian motorcycle range, that actually slot right into that segment where they have cruisers now and they have motorcycles with 1200, 1600 and 1800 engines. So personally, I think that was a very clever move from Tuning Fork to do that. And then an added addition, it's a brand like Indian Motorcycles, which is absolutely stunning.
Yeah, so basically then Indian breaches that market gap that they have for the cruisers or the bigger CC engines.
Absolutely so, absolutely. And as I say, I think Tuning Fork, they've seen the gap in the market. And by the same token, it gives Indian Motorcycles a very good in into South Africa because of the history of Tuning Fork being in the motorbike segment for many years. It just gives them that addition, and it also now open another segment to them, which I think was the right thing for them to do.
Oh, that's great. Yeah, it's a very smart move on their side. But now, we know this isn't a bike review, but we're a bike show. Come on, we need to talk about the bikes. So tell us a little bit about bikes. What did you guys ride?
Yeah, Don, we had the opportunity of riding different motorbikes on this launch. They had the 7 bikes there, 2 Scouts, 2 Chiefs, the Vintage, the Challenger, and then obviously the FTR. On the 2 Scouts, they had the Bobber 20, which is a customized bike, and then they have the normal Scout. The Chiefs, they had the Chief, the Dark Horse, and and the normal one, the Vintage, the Challenger, and the FTR. And we were basically, what we've done is we started in Johannesburg. We left towards Potchefstroom, out on the Fochville Road, through Paris, Free State, not Paris, France. And we stayed over at the Val, at a place called Dakpont. Beautiful place. And then the next day from there, we start off again, and we came straight through past Van der Bijl to Johannesburg again. So we've spent approximately 50 kilometers on average that we had time to spend on a bike. So as you know from our reviews, we spend weeks on a bike to actually do a review.
Yes.
So with 50 kilometers, you can't really do a review, but it really gave us the opportunity to get a bit of a feel for the bike. It's a first impression. And I must say, I thoroughly enjoyed every single bike. To go a little bit into the bikes, and I'm just I don't want to go bike specific, because as I say, it's, we didn't really review it, but if I must put them in a package and I must say, this is Indian motorcycles, I look at their build. These bikes are all superbly built. Every fine detail is there, and that really takes me to the next thing, is the fine detail of the bikes. Even the lights, everything is thought out very, very, very well. There's nothing on these bikes that shouldn't be there. And there's nothing that you look at and say, this little wire should be in a little tube. Or
this is wrong, or that's weird.
No, you look at those bikes and everything is well thought out. They're designed, they're well put together. Personally, I love that classic look of the bikes. Specifically the cruisers. Obviously the FTR is another one. The engines are all smooth. From the lowest one up to the Challenger, they're all smooth engines. The controls are solid. The gears are easy to work. The gearbox is easy. The gear shift is easy. The seats are very comfortable. Now remember, we only had 50 kilometers average on a bike.
Yeah.
We all know that around about 100, 150 kilometers doing reviews, that's where you start feeling it.
Yeah, it gets a bit much.
But for what we had on the bikes, I really felt comfortable on the seats. Customization on the bikes, that's the one thing that I love about these bikes. You can customize them to your liking and your personality. From the Chief upwards, all the screens are touch screens.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
You can work it with your glove fine?
You see, that's where the thing comes in, because normally you have to take your glove off and work the touchscreen. With these touchscreens, you can work them with your gloves.
Oh,
so
wow.
while riding, you can actually change something or do what you want to do.
That's really impressive.
What did feel a bit awkward for me, specifically on the Chief, is that from the Chief up, your one cylinder kick out.
Basically cuts off, yeah.
It cuts off on a low speed. And on the Chief, it felt very awkward for me. But that's what they do. On the bigger engines, that was fine. The tech on the bikes increases as you go up. And when you look at the Scout, that's basic. It's analog clocks. It's whatever. As you go to the Chief and up, it just increases. To where you go to the Challenger, that has the Indian Smart Tech. Don, I promise you, that bike has more tech than some cars. Obviously, the next one is the FTR 1200, which for me was the surprise package in the bunch. I really enjoy riding it. It's a naked bike, typical naked, but not typical naked. The one we had, and I'm not 100% sure if they actually come out like that, but the one we had an acro pipe on, which was the pipe is tuned for the Euro.
The Euro 5.
The Euro 5, yeah. So it was very low, and I want that crack, snapple and pop, and the burps on the bike.
It's 1200.
It's a 1200. You need a bit of oomph.
Yeah.
It got the oomph, but the sound is not there. Amazing bike, and I think this is the bike that any guy that rides, that's a bike rider, must go ride this bike. I personally, for one, would love to have the FTR 1200 in my camp. That's awesome bike. So Don, that on my side is basically, in a nutshell, the bikes we've been on. and what we've experienced on the Indian motorcycle launch.
Now, I know Indian has quite a huge history, and you did learn quite a bit about that now with the Indian motorcycle launch. Can you tell us a little bit about the history?
Non, yes. This is one of the things that I've personally learned a lot about on the Indian motorcycle launch, which I didn't know is actually the history of the bikes. And if you allow me, I'm just gonna. That's why I've got this here, is to give you a bit of facts here, and I can't remember all of it. But first of all, Indian Motorcycles is America's first and oldest motorcycle manufacturing company. Dated back to 1901, with the first V-twin engine in 1906. It's a bit older than you are.
Slightly.
Yeah, although they went through a lot of ups and downs through the years, and I mean, people can go read up on their history. They battled all challenges to be the force where they are today. And a few examples, and I don't want to go into a lot because we will be here for quite a while. The US Army began using Indian motorcycles as early as 1913 and used them in the World War I from 1917 to 1919. So that's a long way back. In 1940 to 1945, Indian motorcycles yet again stepped up and focused almost their entire production to the Allied forces in World War II. And then, as Indian Scouts are America's most historical motorcycle, it comes as no surprise that Burt Munro and his heavily modified Indian Scout, racing many times, from 1940, claiming several land speed records, including 3 world records, racing 9 times on the Bonnie Vale Salt Flats, up to his final race in 1967. And if I'm not mistaken, some of those records still stands today.
Oh wow, that's impressive.
Yeah. So, and then to celebrate the 50th year of Evel Knievel, who doesn't know Evel Knievel, his historic Las Vegas jump, Travis, the famous Travis Pastrana, became the only person who successfully beat 2 of Knievel's records on an FTR 750, who's the pre-runner of the current FTR 1200, including a 150-foot jump over the Caesar's Palace Fountain.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, no, that's amazing. And then obviously the legendary Indian FTR flat track racer, that's what FTR stands for, continued its legacy when returning after 60 years and win 5 straight AFT championships from 2017 on the FTR 1200. So this is some bikes with a lot of history behind them.
My next question is, from this whole Indian motorcycle experience, what did you conclude with this whole relaunch? Or what's the biggest thing you've learned with this whole experience?
Donovan, for me, the Indian motorcycle brand for me is a motorbike displaying the values and craftsmanship of a matured and historic brand that has kept up with the times. And it's important. If you look at, they keep on having the classic style, but there's a lot of new technology and things that evolved in it. Whatever your riding experience, your style or preference, Indian motorcycles will have the bike for you. If you're into cruisers, American cruisers, you will do yourself an injustice if you don't take an Indian motorcycle out for a date. You need to do that. Yeah, we as MotoTribe TV want to welcome Indian motorcycles to your new home in South Africa and wish you many years of success, and may your Indian tribe just grow bigger than you would ever imagine.
Awesome, thank you so much, Ben. There you have it, folks. Indian motorcycles is back in South Africa, and they're back with a vengeance. Thank you all so much for watching. I've been Donovan from MotoTribe TV.
I'm Ben.
Thanks, like and subscribe.